Nah, how many Twitch followers and like how many followers you got? Like Ninja shit. Like he had blown up. He had like he passed everybody and he tripled the guy that was in second place when it comes to his following in just a year. I
Mm.
was watching a YouTube video. He went from 0 followers. No, he went from I think it was 300,000 followers
Mm-hmm.
to 14 million in literally a year.
Mm. Mm-mm. Man, it shows you when you get on that wave, and Fortnite too at the time
Mm-hmm.
was such a crazy game. Was such a
Tfue
start.
wasn't Tfue didn't exist low key. Well, he existed, but nobody really knew about him during that time when he was blowing up, when Ninja was blowing up.
Phase Loki blew him up too.
Who, Tifu?
Yeah, definitely, definitely
Oh
low key.
yeah.
Nah, they did, but the thing is, you gotta remember, like I'm talking about, like the reason why Ninja was like got 14 million because he was at the number one on like whenever you open up Twitch, Fortnite, he was number one in every single category. Even Fortnite was the number one game. Like there was nobody else. Like you're gonna get new viewers just off of that.
Yeah, Drake pulled up too.
Yeah, Drake pulled up.
Mm-hmm. The Drake
And
one
he
was an
maxed.
iconic
Uh
moment
huh.
in gaming.
And he
Yeah,
maxed out at 500,000
yeah,
subscribers.
yeah.
That's a lot of money, bro.
Yo,
Yeah,
That's a
I think
lot
he
of
had
money.
like I think he had almost had like what 600,000 views when
Yeah,
playing with
yeah,
Drake.
viewers at
Yeah, but I'm
once.
talking about,
Yep.
bro. Imagine having 500,000 plus subscribers, not even viewers,
hmm
subscribers. And that was
he,
that was the first time Twitch Prime became a thing too. By the way, like the whole Fortnite
hmm
collab.
bro,
Yeah,
he
people
did a
had free Twitch
fashion show as
Primes.
well. He did a
Mm-hmm.
fashion show recently, and
Uh,
but yeah, but that time that you guys were talking about, Twitch Prime dropped, Fortnite was out, like the streaming stuff was big, gamers was on a climb. It was like the perfect storm for so many things, and now I feel like people are saying, okay, we're always waiting for what's the next game where that happens at, right? What's the next
Yeah.
big thing that's coming out
Yeah.
in the next year? But I always get, I tell it to people like this: don't worry so much about what the next big thing is, and worry more about you sharpening your sword and perfecting your craft right now. You know,
Yeah.
so like
I
we're
agreed.
and because like for me, like I got aspirations of being a voice actor and doing all these different things in my life. But instead of worried about so much of how those opportunities are going to be coming to me, I'm saying, okay, how can I sharpen my sword with the things that I'm doing now? So it's
Mm-hmm.
like when I start streaming, I stream with a different mentality. That I
Yeah.
stream, I got little things in which I'm working on when I'm streaming outside of just playing video games. Rather, if it's how articulate I am, how present I am with the conversation, how entertaining I am. The same thing when I do Pro League Live. It's little things that I work on with myself on that show, getting ready for whatever is coming up in the future. I'm always staying ready. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
always ready for what's around the corner, even if I don't know what it is.
I respect it.
Mm-mm.
Respect it. Respect it.
Yeah, hell, that's a hell. Before we even get up into all that deep conversation, yo, what's up, chat? Hey, I appreciate you guys for being that squad that comes through for the early start. Notification gang, or if you guys even heard it, saw it through the tweet and you just set your alarms, it was like 3:30 Eastern. We here. I appreciate you all, and I think we can kind of hop right into it before, because I already know as soon as we start a conversation, we're just gonna kind of drift off and we're gonna roll with it. So everybody, welcome to episode 9 of the Hot Seat. We got the Rise Gal boys in the house. We got Gears content creator DomeZ. Okay, I'm not even gonna just say Gears content
Let's
creator. We're just
get
gonna
it.
say esports content creator on the rise. If you don't know him, you're missing out. Much love to him. We got team captain of Rise Nation, Avexys in the building. If you don't know
Yo.
Avexys, Rising Star Gears 4 in the building, representing the boys. And we got his teammate Inzem in the house. New and
Yo,
upcoming player, newest member of Rise Nation. Together, they make your 3-time 2v2 Astro Battles champions that can't nobody beat. But hey, they trying. What's up with y'all, man? How y'all doing?
We're doing good. We're doing
Doing
good.
good, man.
and
Nice. Nice. Yeah, I was, watching the games yesterday. I was watching you guys play. I was watching you guys' matchup actually, in the 2v2 a little bit. And that was fun. I said, you know what? We gotta get Rise Guy on the hot seat. I gotta get the brothers on.
That's a
And it's
smart move.
crazy because like the way I see it, like I literally teamed with Avexys and fucking Inzem. Like I actually played with him back in Gal 4 towards the end. Like he was actually like my little wager partner.
Who, Inzem?
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
forgot you played with them in
Before
wages.
he
I
even
used to
blew,
watch
like
those.
before everybody even like create like the people knew about Inzem, but like nobody like he wasn't like super known. You know what I mean? Like nobody like
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't like the whole community knew who he was. It was on some like I was playing wagers with him. People just thought like, hey, maybe like there's no way like we lose to Domes and Inzem in a wager. And like there was like this one time like we started like we literally were like 4 days or 3 days without losing a match, and we was
don't you
beating everybody, bro. I'm talking about like bro, everyone like
don't you
Vital Sam
love
and
when you find
Candles.
that player that nobody is even thinking about, and
Uh-huh.
people writing y'all off, and y'all just pull up shooting, and they don't even know what the hell is happening?
That's a fact.
Yeah.
Everybody, yo, bro, who the hell is this kid Ism, bro?
I
Yo.
always tell people, uh, coming up in gears, it was really tough to crack into like those top six players, that top six group, because they was always recycling players amongst each other,
Yeah.
and they were always keeping it tight, and nobody really wanted to take chances on new players.
Talent.
Yep, exactly. One of the stigmas was the traveling, right? Oh, you never made it to land, you can't travel, yada yada. So until you showed up to an event with whatever team you made, you would even get put on somebody's radar.
Mm-hmm.
And I always appreciated the new players who just showed up and just popped off on everybody. Teams like Retaliation back in the day when Prison, Jay, the old school Drake's Terror Monster got those boys, and they were on GB just playing all the time. And they showed up to the first event, went through open bracket, and went to the fucking finals against
That's
Infinity.
fire.
And it was the craziest one. Actually, it was one of the craziest matches I ever watched. They were on that main stage going back and forth. And you know what? I will say this: that wasn't even their first event. I'm gonna take it back. That was their second event, because their first event was this Toronto one, and they pulled up to Toronto and they got top 4 with Monster. And so then they
Mm-hmm.
got rid of Monster. They brought Terror onto the team, and then they showed up the next event, went through open, and then got to the finals. And they had such a different play style than any of the teams that was there. And what was their strength was that they had this core 3 that never kind of broke apart from each other, and they just needed a good sniper. And they just kept
Yeah.
placing snipers on the team for canals and multiple maps. So once they got Terra, it was a wrap. And just watching that event was super wild, because imagine you're on the Gears main stage. It's the last map. It's like the last round, either round 7, round 6, and all of a sudden, all the screens on the main stage go out, and they're
Yeah.
fighting. When I tell you the whole audience rushed the stage and were peeking over their monitors, like, what's happening? What's happening? I was up there and I was just watching facial reactions. And then I
Yeah.
saw 603 and Atmo and all them start cheering. And they end up coming out on top with that win.
Yeah. I will say I think my craziest experience when it comes to like a land event, at least, like where I can tell you like, bro, my heart was actually pumping out of my chest, like on some like, bro, like like either win or die type thing. Like, and that was the splice match at Mexico. It was for top 8. It was me, Rezik, um, Strafey, me, Rezik, Strafey, Frag Out, and DeFazio. And DeFazio, I picked him up last second. The org literally bought his flight like literally a day before the actual
I
event.
remember that. Weren't you on TGC?
Yeah, it was TGC, and he
That's a
had got
good
his
roster.
Yeah, they bought his flight last second. DeFazio literally was like his pretty much his first event ever, and we went to the event. We played against Splice for top 8, and that was the same event where we got a really bad choke against Crushmo's team. That's another topic. Um, but we was playing against Splice, and bro, like the Mexican fans from Splice, like literally just yelling at us, like from behind us, yelling at us. We're on last map. It's keep in mind every single map went 6-6. By the way, every single map.
Was
All
this
3
first
maps went
Mexico or like
6-6.
the second one?
This is the first Mexico
Okay.
ever, and every single map went 6-6, bro. And I'm like, oh my god, my heart's pumping out of my chest, bro. 6-6 last map. Um, we're in a 2v3, I believe. I think it was me and Rezik or me and Frag Out. And bro, we had literally I clutched up a 2v1 at the ski hill, the neutral, and then Frag Out fucking popped someone across the map with a fucking Marksa. Bro, the whole thing went crazy. All the Mexican fans got super like depressed after. Like
Frag
the energy was just there.
Yo, frag out is different, man. Frag out is just so different when it comes down to those marksman weapons.
Definitely.
Yo, he really is. Like that type of experience is that's what you live for.
Yeah,
Hell,
bro. Like,
you get
that
better
was
after that.
you
Yep,
do.
you get better, and it takes you that one time, that one feeling to get hooked, bro. I'm telling you, from
Mhm.
once there, it's only up from there.
Like I think about all the, I ain't gonna say I feel sorry for him, but I was gonna say I feel sorry for players who can't learn from their mistakes, right? After a
Yeah.
tournament, after victory. Because I love being in those pressure situations. Like if I'm in two back to back maps 6-6 for the bread,
Mhm.
no matter if I win or lose coming out of that, I just became better. Just because it's a
Yeah.
new experience, right? And what people don't understand is that pressure is hard to come by online. And you only get that type of pressure on land. And so anytime you can get in that environment, you're gonna become a better Gears player. But that's another reason why you guys, when you guys are scrimming, you guys do wagers, right? You guys put some
Yeah.
money down. You got to make it
Yep.
meaningful.
It's like a small like mock feeling.
Me personally, bro, I truly believe like people like Inzem and Avexys, right? Yeah, they're winning money off these 2v2 tournaments, but that's low key preparing them for this next event. Like Inzem, like for example, like I feel like wagers definitely play a part into like going to an actual event. Like you're playing wagers and you're supposed to be a little bit nervous. You're playing for big money, $500 each, $1,000 each. Like that's making you be like, yo, bro, like we gotta win this. Like yeah,
And you come out of pocket.
yeah, you gotta play these matches. And Inzem is playing these like 1v1 wagers. That's not just like pocket cheating money. He's playing for. He's playing for $100.
I 1v1 you. What's up?
Like Inzem is actually out playing for like out of his own pocket.
Yo,
I'm a middleman in these wagers, so I know what's actually happening. You know what I mean?
Yo, but like him putting himself in those situations, like you said, is preparing him for like the next pressure moment. I saw a tweet last night, and I was actually gonna say something on it. It was Tactician, from Orbit, and he tweeted out on the Avexys stuff, and he was like, "Damn, they got such a stacked team." Shaking my head. And I just wanted to tweet like, bro, that's the wrong attitude. You should be saying, fuck these dudes. I'm coming for their head the next tournament. You know what I'm saying? Not that, oh my God, they got such a stacked roster. It's so hard to beat them. Forget these dudes, man. Like, you better get your duo and get in with the squad and start practicing. Because the thing is that this was always my mentality of it, like coming up and playing that. I always wanted to play the best because I had to get uncomfortable to be better. I couldn't get better being comfortable. I couldn't get better playing a shitty team that I know my team can win in the scrims. I couldn't get better hoping for the easy side of the bracket. Like that's just wasn't what it was. And so I look forward to playing the best players at all times.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like some players, coming up, that's their mentality. They want the easy route. They want to avoid certain situations. They want to keep the vibes good, but their squad don't know how to work in negative energy. They don't. When you get your ass whooped one night in scrims, how you gonna recover the next day? How you gonna come back to the Discord? What attitude you coming with?
Well, that was another thing, bro. When I was competing, bro, like, bro, scrims, like that shit, like, bro, they took scrims, bro. Like, if you lost one scrim, bro, like, you'll be depressed for the rest of the night. You wouldn't want to play the next scrim. Like, bro, like, I know we just got cooked, but we gotta play this next scrim. Like, nah, bro, like, I'm way too mad right now. I'm like, bro, like what? Like, how you that mad when you don't want to play another scrim? Like, I ain't gonna say this person's name, but like, it happened a lot, and I was like, bro, like. And bro, roster mania and gear, that's another thing, bro. You go to all these events, you swear to your moms you're not fucking changing roster and all that. What happens, bro? You go back home, y'all on the flight, y'all listen, y'all got to
take one DM
back home. Y'all on the same flight back together. Talking about, yo, we gonna stay together, bro. We got this. The moment you get to your house, bro, you see this person has left the chat. Bro, the moment they get to their house, they already got a brand new roster, but they're working on at the after party, bro. The after party, that's where the places like, bro. I swear the kids are more after parties, bro.
That's where the big transactions go down.
Where the roster, bro. All the crap talk, all the you want to talk behind your teammates' back? Go to the after party, bro. Like, yo, you better expose that man right at the fucking after party. Yo, this guy was playing like goddamn ass. Let everybody know. Like, you fucking, bro, huh? It be bad in these
But you
after
can't
parties.
but they can't but you can't say it to your teammate though, right? But you
Yeah,
can
you
say
can't
it
say it to your
you can
team,
you
you can say it
can't
to
say
other
it to your
people for
teammate.
sure.
And why is that though? Like why
I never understood what it is, bro. I never understood that.
That's one thing I respect about Avexys, bro. Avexys, bro, he'll let you know how he feels right there.
I keep it
Yeah,
a
Oh,
he'll like,
word?
yo, bro,
straight.
you're
Like I keep
fucking
it about
terrible,
straight
bro.
with you, bro. I'm not kidding. I don't like that. I feel like that's not how you're supposed to be a teamwork, like a teammate. You gotta be mad honest. Like just be brutally honest.
Mm. That
That's how you get the most progress.
more people need to just understand that lesson because like if you guys come off a tournament, first off you want a teammate that can say, hey guys, that's on me. Like I had an
Definitely.
opportunity to I misplaced my flash. I had an opportunity to flank, but I hesitated, made a different decision. I'm gonna take blame for that. I got a lot of respect for that teammate, right?
Definitely.
And
Accountability is everything, bro.
100%. And then I got a lot of respect for then if you're not that guy, right? If you're more on just the soldier side, you got to have a respect for your IGL and the guy at the top that comes to you. And now also the way you come to your team is another thing because a lot of people don't understand tone. They come at you real disrespectful and or they come at you with this high energy, and not a lot of people respond to that. So if you are a good IGL, you know how you need to talk to all your other teammates. But that guy, you gotta respect it when he says, "Hey man, what's up? What happened? You know what went down? You need to get better at X, Y, Z." And then go to the drawing board.
Definitely.
Yeah, because that right there, it's such a good trait. But but when it comes down to these AM teams, that's the one thing. If I had to say that's what I stress that you guys understand. Team bonding is everything. Have the uncomfortable conversations, call each other out, hold your own self accountable if you don't want to be called out, right? And just strap yourself in for the grind. I do think that when it comes down to the roster locks and rules that they have now for the PGL, that it is, I wish individual players were getting points. Right, I wish individual players was getting point and it wasn't stacked so much
seeding,
towards
right?
for seeding, and it wasn't stacked
definitely
towards the core because then you
That
get
was the
stuff
best
that
way back in MLG.
yeah, because then you get stuff that happen with like musics, right, where you grind and you making shit happen, but your team drop you and you have nothing to show for your hard work over the last 3 weeks.
That was the best part about that's another thing, bro. There'll be teams back in Gears 4 that will pick you up, one because of your skill and one because like your actual pro points. If we pick this guy up, we can low-key get top 8 and get fully funded to the event. And that guy shows like even if he got dropped from a top team, he could still help another team that's not in the top 8, make it a top 8, get full funding, and make that run. And I've seen it happen a few times with players like Sneaky's roster, for example, bro. Like they came out of nowhere. They got top 8 like twice, and I think they automatically get enough pro points to get fully funded to the next event.
And that's the grind. But I think that like the integrity in the points in which you earn is also saying that, hey, this guy, he has X amount of points at the top. He has a high skill level because he's been in great matches. So for that player to come down to a lower team, I do feel like, and as you said, it has happened where that top player is going to make those guys better based off of his experiences. But it just, even in the whole scheme of things, that it balances it all out, because now you don't get this top player and he has to go to the bottom and whoop all these other kids' butts again to get back to the top. And they're like, oh my God, what the hell is happening? What, why is he matched up with me? You know what I'm saying? Why is he playing at this level?
And that's like another thing because coming up in Gears 4, that pro point system really makes it hard for AMs to actually do anything, because 2Ks are kind of everything when it comes to pro points. You win 2Ks, you get pro points, and it just puts you in a better seating. But like, even if some different AM teams are good and they couldn't get enough pro points, it was kind of like a never-ending cycle. Like, you get ready on Sunday, you beat your first team, opt the second round. Like, what can you do? You lose, you don't get no pro points, and then rinse and repeat up into the event. Like, and you can't get good practice like that, and it just kind of makes it hard to make that status.
Yeah, and you're saying that for the Gears 4 system, right?
Yeah.
And that's, and you know what it is? And granted, a lot of teams love the 2Ks every Sunday, right? They love the 2Ks, and because a lot of those teams got a lot of matches in throughout the week, you know.
Mhm.
And so they got a lot of matches in that day. It was a grind. You get to really practice with your team there. But as you said, those you get matched up against these top 8 teams early on, and it's just a constant thing based off the amount of teams it's playing, where it's hard to kind of get away from that bracket and get to that next tier. Now with the pro teams being in a pro league, the Challenger Series can play out a little bit differently now. So it's a little bit more competitive.
Mhm.
I still think an individual player should have points though, but I feel like teams as a whole should have points as well as individual players having points. I feel like that's how it should be done.
Almost as if if you keep your core 3, you get a multiplier, right?
Or if you keep your core 3 and you play something in an event, say you place top 4, you should still have the 4th seed or the 3rd seed after that event, as long as you keep your roster. You know what I mean? Like that's how I feel like it should be. It should be based off of what you place at the event and have pro points as well.
Yeah, a mixture of it. So you say, so does that mean that Riot goes into Mexico City with a top 16 seed?
No, that means we go off our pro points. I'm saying if you're out of the top 8 seed, you feel me? Like say I'm like the 12th seed, right?
Yeah.
And we come to the event and we play second. I thought we should come to the next event with that 2nd seed.
So I'm a little, I'm 50. I'm a little indifferent on that one because I think it's nice that you got second that event, but up until that point, your consistency, right? But up until that point, it's your consistency.
Definitely.
If you was getting 16, you got second, that's awesome, but you still a top 8 team. Now you're a top 8 team officially. Back to back on it. Back to back on it.
Wasn't it like that in Gears 4, where if you place top 8, you're automatically in pools for the next event?
Yeah, I think that's. I don't know if the
that's how I feel like it should be. Not directly seed, but I mean your placement as how you start. On a Friday you start off in the Swiss or the pools, whatever it may be.
Yeah. Now the way that they do it is just kind of it's just taking the pro league teams and placing those guys in there, and everybody else having to kind of go through the open bracket and grind up. But the one thing is that I wish that kind of happened with the pro league. I wish y'all divisions kind of got shooken up a bit, because technically the way it's kind of set up is that y'all gonna be in switch stage for the rest of the tournament, for the rest of the season. I don't see you guys coming out, unless the groups do get mixed up, because
it should just be combined.
Yeah, we said we should have them merged, but they said they couldn't make that happen, which is okay.
They said they couldn't.
Yeah, they couldn't make it happen. I was like, oh.
Yeah, you know what? And I don't know if it's because the other international leagues is just because they have 4 teams apiece, and that's why they couldn't do it. But I tell you one thing is that if it could have been combined, I think that'd be sick. Or you do. I think Kenny said this. You do half of you playing your division, and then you do another week of cross divisional play. Right?
Oh, yeah, that works too. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I think some cross divisional play would be awesome. Just because the fact is that, granted, I do feel like at first we did get some good groups, because it's all right, you get Rise, NRG, and Rec. Any of those 3 teams playing each other is great storylines. You know what I'm saying? It's a good matchup to watch for the fans. And then on the flip end, Mazer and Hive and Simplicity at the time, I thought were all even matchups. All a different tier, but still respectable games. But now in that one, Inzem, can you lower your mic just a little bit? Because I hear myself peaking in yours a little. Just turn it down a bit. But but when it comes down to that other group, I feel like it was kind of stacked. But now with the new teams coming in, I'm waiting for these new pro league teams to show us something, because these last 2 weeks it's just been a smack up.
Yeah, but you gotta give them a chance to grow and stuff. They literally just came out of the AM scene. That's how it is for any AM that's coming up. You learn a lot of new things once you're introduced to how the pros play, because it's a whole different field.
What's the gap? Why is it such a big gap between them and you guys? What is it that they're missing?
The gap to me starts with raw skill, because sometimes you can execute stuff all the time that's correct, but if you don't have the raw skills to actually do it, you're gonna get world starred. And that's where it starts, because usually most pro teams, they play around with the AM teams, it's like playing with their food, but it's just going for straight wall start plays, and it works because their raw skill is above them. So it starts with raw skill, and you mainly build that from having that experience against other good players. You learn how to play them more.
Now, when we talk raw skill, are we talking, movement? So, we'll say in raw skill, you can put in the category of movement, how accurate you are. You know, I love, you know, micro spacing, as Fatal Strike loves to say, because, you know, I love the word micro spacing. Understanding your gap between you and your opponent, understanding that chunk range, right? And your distance in any given situation, because you recognize a play. Just you getting too close to a fight when you don't need to will open up so many plays for your opponent when you could have safely, you know, when you could have safely performed the same play from a different portion of the map. And so micro spacing, accuracy, movement. What else would you guys throw in there as raw skill that these players, you know, just kind of don't get? And the reason why I say that is because
having the right gun out right time.
Having the right gun out at the right time is another huge one.
That's a big one.
Your positioning in fights.
Yeah, positioning in fights.
There's a lot of these AMs, when they get into a gunfight, they don't like position themselves right. Like they start the fight off as a disadvantage, like a lot of the times. Like a few players don't understand that.
And I feel like some players they see some situations and be like, oh, cool, we got a numbers advantage, or we're just gonna all rush at this guy. Everybody wants to get the chunk, right? I feel like they all want to get the chunk, and then they open themselves up to get world star. To get chunked, right? Because they all like, oh, we need the chunk, and then next thing you know, it's just they run at you one by one, and if they don't got that mechanical skill, they just get outplayed.
Yeah, right back to respawn.
Every single time. And so so that raw skill is definitely one of them. And because, you know, back in the day, like with Gears, if you had, even if you don't have, like, so I will say it like this, I think Jerpy is the player in which I can compare it always to easily, where I think Jerpy has a lot of skill, and but he has more smarts than raw skill, right?
Yeah, that's also
and his positioning is so keen. Like instead of when it comes down to the raw skill portion, instead of mastering so much of the movement, he's mastered the positioning and the teamwork aspect of it, and he still gets those results.
He's always been good. Even on a team like him and Galui, like I always told Jerpy, like, bro, like I'm gonna go Jeff. You're actually one of the best players I've ever seen. Like put their hands on gears. Like
literally,
he plays smart. Like he just holds his shots. He doesn't do any crazy flashy plays. Like doesn't go for no crazy reaction shots. Like bro, he's all about like pistoling his Nasher, his Lancer, and just holding his shots. Like he doesn't do anything special. He doesn't wall bounce crazy. He doesn't reaction shot too crazy.
How can he quickly get to the objective, right? And at the end of the day, in his mind, and players like him, their mind, like the quickest way to get to the objective is just point and shoot. Hit your shots, right? As long as you can see the player on your screen and you got that Lancer, you can put damage out. It's like a Halo mentality in a sense. And I say Halo mentality, it's the best game I can put it to when it comes down to team shooting outside of Gears. But, you know, in Respawn Halo game types is that the entire team, 4 players, has such an understanding of the map, and all 4 players, the focus, point, shoot, point, shoot, point, shoot. Like, and how quickly you can change targets, right? Like, and I would say that's another thing. We'll say target, you know, target choice. You know, which target are you going to be choosing in your fight? Target prioritization. Are you shooting a guy in front of you, or you're shooting your man? So, for example, it could be a 3v3 fight, and my thing is the third guy shooting the people his teammate is fighting, or is he keeping the guy's head down in the back and isolating a 2v2 fight? You know what I'm saying? Or do you understand who your guy is in that situation? Can you, if your teammates are kind of winning this fight, are you shooting who they're shooting at, or the guys in the back line and just creating pressure? And that can be the big difference on some fights as well.
Yeah.
So when so now after that, one of the other things is too that you know, when it comes down to, you know, Inzem, with you being on Rise Nation and you being the newest member of Rise Nation on the squad, let me go to Avexys first. And Avexys, how did y'all like decide and figure out that Inzem was the guy, right? That, you know what, this is that up and coming player who understands, who has the raw skill, who understands the team shooting, he has the mechanical skill, has the positioning. How did he come on y'all radar to join Rise Nation?
To me, I always feel like on a roster, you always want to have one player that's like a wrecking ball that can literally just kill anything in their path. And it was like I had to do that, but being an IGL, it's like it's kind of hard to have to do that at the same time as like keeping everything organized. You know what I mean? Because you can't be the person that messes up everybody else's organization, but want to keep everything organized at the same time. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, like.
So, oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, does the spawn positioning, like when you're the IG on your team and you're making the call outs, are you can you do that and still be front spawn, or do you feel like you need to be towards more in the back of the line, like second or third coming to the fight to see more? Does that
It's
make a
definitely
difference?
better to be behind your front spawn directly or behind like your second spawn. It's better to be in the back because you see the entire field. Like you know
Mm-hmm.
everything that's going on. That's the more information you have is the better as an IGL.
I definitely agree with that. I definitely agree with that. But you can keep going on and talking about how
Having
you
a
got this
ball
beast.
raw
Yeah.
skill.
Yeah.
Um, so I already played. I played with Lenny in Gears 4 a few times, and I was like, "Huh, this kid's gonna come up quick." Because I played first time I played with him was a pickup, and I was literally like teaching him stuff, like little by little, small talk, all that. And I was noticing that he was just copying everything that I was doing, literally. Like I would give him small talk, and he would take it, and he'd start doing the same thing back. I was like, "Huh." First amateur player I've ever played with that
Sponge.
actually, yes, that actually had beautiful small talk that they had a problem with. It felt like you had chemistry for a year. So I was like, okay, this is a big feature for this guy. And then I noticed he had a lot of movement and stuff. I was like, all right, so he has mechanical skill, but he doesn't know how to use it. Then you see him use it in an event. It's like, okay, he's a perfect player at this point. He's gonna keep on growing at this point. So I just picked him up.
There you go. Hell, what? And he comes on the team and he replaces Rezik. Any specific reason of why Rezik didn't work out?
Um, Alec and Kev, they have like a interesting type of relationship. Like they're good like outside the game, but I don't think they're really like good when it comes to being teammates with each other. So
Mm.
it's like we had to get rid of one of them, and Kev like he didn't really want to be there anyways after a minute because like of what was going on. So he was like, all right, he just wants to play with Yachty, so we just fine with that, and we just got Lenny.
There you go. So it sounds like it kind of worked out, and it was
Yeah, it worked out itself. Yeah.
it was a mutual separation on that one. Now on the flip end, Lenny, you were playing with God, it's on the top of my name. What was the name of your team name at the last event?
Oxygen.
Oxygen. Yeah, it was Oxygen Supremacy.
Yep.
Yeah, you were playing with them the last event, and you were turning up on the main stage. Was that your first main stage match?
Yeah.
Yeah, your first main stage match. So how has your Gears of War career, been? How did you get into Gears of War, and how did you kind of progress onto that first main stage match and get it on Rise?
Well, I mean, like, I didn't even start playing Gears of War 4 until like late season 2. Like, I'm pretty sure I just started getting on the game. Like, I'm still level 1 right after Dallas. So, like I already said earlier with the how the amateur system worked and the pro points is really hard for an AM. So I immediately realized this and said,
You kind of cut out. Oh no!
There
Oh,
you
he
go.
he moved. His chat moved. I'm about to bring him back down.
Put him in
Get him
for
in.
Yeah,
what?
hold on,
Let's get
yo,
better.
back up, Lenny. You end up pressing a different chat. You end up switching off.
What? I wasn't
You went,
on Discord.
yeah, you went to AFK. Go ahead.
You went
Oh,
AFK,
oh,
but
it's
you
'cause I
but you
wasn't touching my thing.
yeah you was only gone for like 10 seconds. But was Gears 4 your first Gears?
No, my first Gears was Gears of War 3.
Gears of War 3. Okay, did you play Gears 3 a lot?
Yeah, I just played a lot of Mercy, and that's it.
Okay, but
Either
yeah,
Mercy or sitting in Horde and bouncing. But like I was saying earlier, I don't know when it cut me off, but I started playing Gears of War 4 right after like Dallas finished in season 2, meaning like I was like a level 1 at that time, so just started touching the game. So I tried to team for like 2 weeks. I realized that like okay, I played Optic second round one time and played Echo Fox second round one time. Got double 7 0'd. This is not going to be the like this is not going to be the way. This is going to keep on happening. So I
you
kind of
said.
stopped focusing on teaming and like started getting better at the game, like playing singles and whatnot, like
Mm-hmm.
improving my mechanical skill. And like, I kind of want to say this because, in my opinion, this is what a lot of just new players or like players who are trying to come up is struggling with. Is they don't understand that like people can be better than them. It's easily possible, you know. And like the best way to get better at the game, the fastest way to get better at the game, is watching players who are, albeit at the time, like better than you, and
Yep.
learning what they're doing and taking it and
Yep.
implementing it to your own playstyle. And I just did that for like almost a year.
That is so true. That is so true. It is gonna be players out there that's better than you, but you have to. It's either you're gonna be humble enough to be able to take to be able to look and apply, the little things that they do to your gameplay and to try them out, or you're just so stubborn and you're just so prideful where you figure it out on your own and you grind to the top. Right? It's either one
That
or
just takes
two.
way too much time.
It
Hey,
does.
it's
I think
that,
your
that
way is a
second
little
one.
bit better.
That second one always takes longer, bro. For real.
Always, you can't be
Always
prideful
takes-
like that.
Yep. You can't be in denial, man. You gotta just accept it for real.
100%, and find you some, and like find you some players for you to kind of soak up that knowledge. When it came down to Gears of War strategy, right? The way that it evolved over the years was that, teams would try, like back in Gears 1, team would try new things like certain initials, rather if it was 3-1, 2-2s, or whatever it may be. Like the 3-1 on Clock Tower didn't start off a 3-1 right away. It took a few reps of teams playing before they realized having 3 people up top, 2 on the line, 1 back pillar was the ideal way to play that map. For the longest, Clock Tower, actually, Clock Tower was a little bit more of the 4 rushes. I remember the one strat that did come into play that was so new was the 2-2. Was playing 2 guys on the back stairs, back pillar, 2 guys down low for the nades. I remember, I think it was Prophecy in Chicago 07 was the first team to actually bring that strat to land. And it was like, oh my God, what's happening? It was a strong defensive strat, and it was how creative they can be. But when people saw that, they was like, all right, bet. They took it. They took the strategy. They tried it out a few times. They understood what made it good, what made it bad, and they made it their own, right? And so, you had to, when you're a new team, whatever opponent you play, you copy their base. That's why you always hear me preach, man on man is the best strategy to start off on any given map, because it's a few things in which you need to understand. Gears of War is a game when it's all about timing. It's all about seconds, and every position it's an X amount of time for you to get there and you got to understand the fastest time to get to your given position, given your given spot and where you have to play on the map. And there is an optimal spot on every map to be at.
Definitely.
But by understanding that, you understand where can you beat your opponent, where can you get a smoke 2 seconds sooner for your front spawn to get in and rank and cause havoc. Also, as well, if you want to know who is your guy, because the front spawn's playing the front spawns, the 2s are playing the 2s, the 3s are playing the 3s, and so on. But by you creating a relationship in that man-on-man, you getting respect from this guy, but also how you're going to beat him up the next round, and you also, just understand where to make those adjustments. So don't ever feel like you guys should not copy somebody else's strat, or you just don't feel right about it, bro. Copy it to a T, and then make it your own.
To make it better. Yep.
Yeah, people need to kind of just understanding that a little bit more coming off of it. But when you do get that, you start understanding, you really just start kind of growing as a team. You start being better in that sense.
Definitely.
Do you guys, when it comes down to strategy in Gears 5, do you guys have open bases and starting strategies that you guys do not use online, or you only use against certain teams, or maybe save for land?
Definitely have a lot to save for land, of course, because you don't want to give away everything. Because there's a few things that are like damn near game breaking. You just want to bring out.
And because of the concept, as I just said, of people, taking those strategies and making them their own, and them implementing it, you don't want to use it online whatsoever.
Yep. Coaches spectating scrims, bro. Coaches are scary, bro. I'm telling you. Coaches can be scary.
Bro, they can just sit on your side of the map the entire time.
The entire time, bro.
That's what I would do. I wouldn't even look at my team. I'm just.
You don't need to, bro. Really. You just want to see how they lost. Simple as that. That's all you need to focus on.
Nah, yeah. I'm actually I need to do. One day I need to get Crazy Training Ashes and do a full coaches chat. Maybe even get Affinity on that one as well, and just kind of talk about their process and the things in which they go through, and how they do coach and they pay attention to their opponents and scrims and prepare. Do you guys feel like having that coach has made you a better squad?
Affinity?
Yeah. Well, just having a coach in general, and then you can kind of talk about how Infinity and Ribs is kind of helping you guys out now.
Oh yeah, having a coach in general, of course, it helps. But of course, it makes it better when you have a good coach. You know what I mean? Just having anybody there that you might even have more knowledge then. It's just not always the best feeling ever. But having Affinity and Jordan and the Pacific, bro,
they so smart.
Literally, literally.
They're so smart. If it's what's one new thing that you can tell me that you may have learned by having Infinity and Jordan on a squad, and you can either Inzem or Avexys, you guys both can answer either one. But what's one new thing that they brought you guys over the last few months that you guys didn't have before?
You go first.
It's mainly because Affinity, he's more textbook, and me, I'm like a wild type of player. I'm damn near reckless.
You in the moment. You in the moment.
So it's like Affinity, like he like keeps everything together, especially when he's in that zone. Like he doesn't do it all the time because he wants us to build ourselves, so it could be easier for him.
Hmm.
So like when he is in that zone and you like feel it, it's like he's literally a puppet master.
Push back up. Turn
I'm so
around.
serious.
Hold.
And his voice, I know you don't
You-
see his voice, bro.
Yeah, you hear it over everybody. Actually, I didn't even perceive it that way, but that's so perfect because that deep, soothing voice in your ear, no matter what all your teammates are saying, they high pitched voices. Chris comes through. Don't push.
You listen to it. Yeah,
Hold.
literally.
OE.
Okay, I'm done.
Yeah, that's a voice you can't ignore, literally.
Yeah,
It's impossible.
literally. You cannot say I did not hear you or anything, bro. You hear that voice.
Does when you guys are scrimming online, does he join the comms online like he would on LAN, or does he kind of let you guys do your thing?
That's what I'm saying. Like
Nah.
occasionally he does, and then like sometimes he just lets us build, like, or like a 5. He would like sometimes he's not there, and we'll just be building ourselves to get our comms better and stuff. So it makes it easier for him.
I know it's probably hard for him to kind of do it the
Do it
same
without
way he.
cheating?
Yeah, exactly, right. Do
Yeah.
it because on LAN he's looking at the 5 screens. So if he was to do it
Right.
at home, he just needs to cycle through his own teams and to get practice
Right.
that way.
One
Yeah.
thing I really like how he does is, sometimes, we'll go over a map because we have an issue we're trying to work on or just trying to get better at a certain map. And then once we scrim again on that map, attempting to practice what we just worked on, then that's when I feel like he'll pinch in on some, like, if somebody's not in the right spot at the right time and something we just worked on, he keeps on reminding them, get that repetition in their mind, like, yo, back up on cover, like you don't have to push that, like wait. And he's just gonna
Mhm.
keep on saying it until it's like locked in our heads. And then once it
Yep.
is, and that's when he just lets us rock, unless doesn't really say anything, because at that point he doesn't have to.
Hey, yeah, no, that sounds like the wave right there. What about what about Jordan, the goat, the Gears goat? Because Jordan.
Now,
Jordan
Oh,
is
okay.
Jordan. I was just going. I always love giving Jordan gas whenever I can. Just because I remember his first event in Meadowlands with the Hammer Burst and Gears 2, and he won it, and he was just like, "Oh yeah, this esports." Okay, came in like the perfect child, like the perfect Gears player, and and he just had an awesome career. Shoot.
mhm. So Jordan, I'm pretty sure most people know. Jordan is one of the best teammates you can have. Like simple as that. Like even everybody like knows him. Even when he's went through like on multiple teams, he's had his mental fortitude tested multiple times.
Yeah, he truly has. People like it killed me in Gears 4 to see teams like kind of like I felt like Jordan was the scapegoat on some of his teams,
Yep.
right? Like
Every time.
like it was like if something went wrong, it's like you go for Jordan, you go for Jordan, you go for Jordan. I'm up here like, bro, very few people has done what he's done. Some of y'all moved the way that y'all do because of Jordan. Jordan put it in y'all heads that y'all can, use the roadie run to be able to cut back and make people dodge shots. Like he understands his position, and I just feel like on some of the teams that he was on, he wasn't getting the respect in which he deserved because of whatever.
I always made this a point. You know what didn't make sense? Like you said, Jordan was always a scapegoat, and I guess looking from an outsider point of view, it can be easy to scapegoat him because if he's playing on the home hill, then his team's getting shit on.
Mm-hmm.
They expect him to 1v5. Like, he's fine. But like one thing that like Jordan's done in Gears 4, and to be honest, anybody that says Jordan should have been dropped from any team that just discredits them completely is the simple fact that Optic lost twice in Gears of War 4, both times was to Jordan. So you can't say anything to him anymore.
Not both. The 2 events in which they did not win, Jordan won those events.
Yeah, Jordan won those events.
He beat him in one. It was the Vegas one. Splice took him both. Optic lost to both international teams that event.
That was a wild event. I remember that.
That Vegas one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was an interesting one. It was some events, like granted, my struggles come down to production sometime and just how the events run. And that one was just interesting for on that stance for me, but yeah, that was a weird Vegas event.
We definitely drifted off a little bit, but what Jordan brings, like,
Yes.
okay, since he is that good teammate, it's like he sort of is showing us the best way to be efficient, like for your teammate, like that's how to be that perfect teammate, instead of being so much of an individual. Because if you look at our team on paper, we have damn near all the raw skill in the world, but it's just
True.
It's just like our teamwork that really needs to, be focused on to make us elite.
Yeah, nah, I agree with that. But I think that I think you guys can get there. Just seeing like the successes in which you guys have had, online. Granted, as we already know, Designite and already tweeted you say if you can play like you do on land the way you do online, Riot's Nation will be out here winning all these events. Okay, and then you going to Mexico, they gonna be trying to put the pressure on you, man.
That's fine with me, man. I got a lot of fans in Mexico as well that be supporting me, so I'm not worried.
So and that's a lot of teams consider you guys like an online roster, right?
Mhm.
And they consider you guys to be, super talented, there, but not on land. Do you feel like, and why is that? Why do you feel like they feel that way?
Um, I don't know. Honestly, it's because a lot of our teammates have a lot of like creds. Like Shock, he's been top 4 multiple times. Marco's been top 3 multiple times. You know what I mean? Like I don't understand why they even come at us. But um, yeah, we do like we have choked on land a few times. Definitely that's not to be like denied at all.
What's the hardest thing? When it comes down from going online to land, that transition, what is one of the hardest changes? What is
Hmm.
what is, like is it is it the game on, well, typically the game on land is always assumed to be better, right? Than it's going to be
Hmm.
online. The game's going to be better. Is it the environment, being next to your teammates,
Um,
or
it's mainly it's like it's kind of hard to say, but
yeah.
if I don't know, I'll probably just say like it's remembering like what you do when you're just at the crib chilling, playing as a team. It's like just doing those same strats, running your same sequences to do like retakes and stuff. Like not forgetting.
And so, and I'm happy you said that, because one thing is that I always try to get to a lot of teams and anybody who is coming to these events and they have work to do, right? Rather if you a player, rather if you on a talent team, whatever it may be, if you got work to do, your mentality coming into the event. Because back in the day, we come in like you ain't seen your homies in like a few months,
Uh,
we out here still using MySpace. And we on Xbox Live. I don't even think the cam is out yet for Uno, but you see your homies every few months, and you come in on that Thursday evening, turn up. Friday night, turn up. You play the tournament Saturday, you play the tournament Sunday. Sunday night, you turn up. But it's a lot of days in between from when you leave home to when your first match is on land, and what you do in between
true.
there is super important. Not even like when it comes down to preparation, staying warm, how you changing up your lifestyle. Because
Yep.
when you're at home, you practice a certain way. Now, how do you get those same settings on land? I think is super important. How do you create that same experience and have that same focus on land? And I often challenge players to ask themselves, could they be could they be better prepared? Could they get more sleep? Could their diet be better going into the event? How can you improve your focus? And I think that's a question that a lot of players should ask themselves in between that gap of leaving home to get into that first match.
That's fact. Because I feel like once your routine is broken, you kind of start feeling like uncomfortable. And definitely having a good sleeping schedule, diet, all that just counts in just because that's just your routine. And I feel like that helps you a lot.
Bro,
Even
That
if
one thing I
literally
even
want
if it's
definitely helps you
video
a lot.
games, it helps.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely.
Bro, one thing I wanted to say about the transition from online to LAN is that, like, I feel like a lot of people don't really understand how it changes. Like, people say there's certain players who are only good online, and to me, that's just bullshit. Like, it's the same
hmm
game. It's the actual same
I,
game.
I
Like,
I agree with you on
go
that.
play Gears of War 5 online and then go and play Gears of War 5.5 online. It's still the same game. And like, I feel like the only thing that really changes and why some teams can either perform better or worse on LAN is no team truly gets better on LAN. I don't believe that. Other teams just get
It's
worse.
just
And I
yep, yep.
yeah, I
That's how I
feel that
feel. Yep.
because when you go on
Mm.
LAN, it is so much more pressure on the line, and in players' head, the game starts moving faster than it should. It starts moving too fast for them. And then once that starts happening, you start forgetting the little things that you've been trying to, like, the drills you've been running online and scrims, you start forgetting them. Like, not forgetting them, but you start not doing them. Because the faster the game goes in your head, the more mistakes you're going to make. Like, that's just a fact. And so
Mm.
no player will ever get better. I'll even argue every single player on this game gets worse when it comes to LAN, but some get like worse than others. Like.
Man, you know what? I will say that where I can disagree with that at is that back in the day, certain players play on some shitty pings, right?
Oh, definitely.
So
definitely.
connections, right? So some players played on shitty ping. Like I would say personally for myself that when I was playing on that SBC Yahoo DSL and that shitty ping, like all the best Gears of War players was in New York. I'm out here in Chicago, and you know, don't even get me started on some West Coast players. But when those, like, if you were good online, and in order to be good online, you had to, since the ping was so high and the connection was bad, that you had to be better with your positioning and be a better teammate, right?
Mhm.
But when you got to LAN, you take that same play style. I swear, like if you had to play like that, you hitting bricks. Like you increasingly getting better because your bullets is doing damage. It just feels a little bit easier. So I do believe that some players got some situations where LAN will make them better as long as, like what you said, they stick to their fundamentals, right? They don't let the pressure get to them. They don't let the moment become bigger than what they're playing for. And that's the big thing. You can't let the experience, the tournament outweigh all the hard work you've put into this point. Because that's your stage, man. That's what you've been practicing for. You've been practicing for all these people to watch you play, and you clutch the fuck up. Like
Yeah,
you
I
clutch the
think
fuck
Drake
up.
is one of those that fucking one of those players that play better on LAN compared to
Who?
online. Drake's.
Oh yeah,
I
definitely.
I agree with that. It's a
I
vibe.
don't like. I don't believe like players get better on LAN. I feel like they've always been that good, but online is just a big hindrance. So you really never see.
I like that better. Yeah.
Cause bro, you know Drake's like he be hitting bricks even online. So like people kind of discredit him, but like every time he plays against most regions, since it's always either East and then maybe against some international teams that host, he always has like 90 plus ping.
Oh
Like,
yeah, definitely.
you easily can't do the things you want to do online with that amount of ping. So like positioning
Definitely.
does come in handy. But one thing I wanted to say on that is the different types of players. Like, you know, there's some players who are like kind of dubbed as speds, like I guess me, Powers, Avexys. And then there's some players who are dubbed as like more position heavy players, like you said, like Jerpy and Drix. And I'm gonna be honest, like that's cool and all. You can have two different types of play styles, but the like when a player becomes an X factor, one of those players are like, okay, you gotta watch out for him because he'll easily change the tide of this map. Is when a player has both those things. And very few players have actually managed to do that. Have both positionally smart and like if they have to get in a gunfight, even with their amazing position.
He wants to AFK again. God damn it.
Hold on, I got yo. He got the fat finger. He got the. He's probably just chatting. Watch this. Yo,
Bro,
okay.
why does it do that to me, bro?
Nah, but you were talking about the X factor and them having the positioning and having both of those.
Yeah, but like I was saying, like when a player has both of those, that's when, in my opinion, those are the best players in the game. When when you're able to do both, literally.
No, I feel that. No, I feel that because you know being able, and that's you having a good perception of every given situation. That in this moment, like I always challenge players to understand what's the perfect play at that time. At this time, what is the perfect play? Is it you holding the 2-cap? Do you have to be the aggressor for your team because you're closest to the objective, right? Are you in a are you playing, are you like a a positional player, but now your team, the pressure's against them. Do you understand that you have to be that aggressor? You have to go take the 1v2 if your squad has any chance at winning. Those players I love, but some players don't get that and then they miss opportunities. They miss windows and they make it sometimes harder for their teams because a situation where all you had to do was run the opposite way and go to your opponent's home hill to get an easy decap or fight a 1v1, you may in turn run back to your teammates to the team fight when in actuality, you had to trust them to win that fight.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you had to go do this over here if y'all wanted a chance to win. And so, I've watched a lot of teams give up their winning moments because one player, didn't make that right rotation.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, no, but that's all of that and all is really, it's all a part of the greater piece, the bigger puzzle there in general. But no, that was a good talk as far as the positioning goes and all of that you needed to succeed in the different types of players there. One of the other things I wanted to talk about with the group though was that when it comes down to you three, in content creation, y'all killing the game. Inzem, well, I don't know, if you got the YouTube up, but I'm assuming that Kareem is down your neck about what you gonna do, bruh. what type of content you probably gonna put out. You start a podcast out here or something, or make sure you making plays and you branding yourself right. But Avexys and Domes, both of you guys, y'all been on that grind, man. Y'all ain't stopped. I'm happy for everything that you guys have done, because we've had the conversations before in the past just about content creators and gears, and even with myself on me personally just being better. And that's why I try to make sure that every Friday, we get the hot seat up. For you guys that's watching out there on Twitch, I want my layout to look prettier. I need to get a different hot seat layout for multiple people, and get it back to what it used to be. But I'm just more so happy of just having a conversation and putting it on Spotify and getting that content out to the community who wants to listen to it. But how has you guys' content creation journey been in gears?
I don't know if you want to say your part first,
You
Jay.
can go
Or
first.
Yeah, Dones, we haven't heard from you in a while.
It's alright. I was just listening. I was listening to you guys talk about your.
I know, but I love your voice so much, though.
I feel you, brother.
Like I love hearing that. I love hearing, that New York swagger.
I got you, Brody. But the way I started, bro, like again, like in Gears 4, I was just doing it for fun when I first started. Didn't really have money like that to even get a capture card, so even I always want to create content. That's another thing. I always want to create content, but I was never able to do. I never had a capture card to record content with, or a PC or anything like that. So I was playing COD, transferred over to Gears. I won something off of Call of Duty, and that's how I got my first Xbox One. Now with the Xbox One during Gears 4, I would just stream off of Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
I'll play Gears, stream off of Twitch, then I'll export it as like a whole like 3 hour clip or whatever. And it's crazy because the way I have to do things is literally weird. So like if I wanted to include a meme in my video, I will have to download the meme to my phone. I had an Android during that time, so it's a lot easier to download memes on an Android.
Yeah.
And then after I download the meme, I have to re-upload to my channel as a private video. And then back then, it was a YouTube editor would let you put different videos together that you have already uploaded. So I'll put the memes in the middle of that video with the YouTube editor that was already uploaded from my phone. And I did everything off my phone. I created the thumbnail, uploaded the videos off the Twitch app, and then I used to download the memes and all that off of YouTube videos, and then just download it. But even then, like bro, like
Can we just show some love to that, because that's the thing is that's a hustle. That's a hustle, and I was gonna say that I think everybody's hustle starts off a little bit different how they do the content creation. And there's one point that I wanted to make in there, where if there's a will, there's a way, and if you really about that life, you gonna figure it out. You gonna find out how you gonna do it. Hell, for my flame transition on my screen, it took me. I was at my computer 8 hours just to make a 2-second transition in After Effects. I said I'm gonna figure this shit out though.
I respect it. That's fire, bro. And it was just shit like that, bro. Like I'm gonna be honest, I was uploading, and I was uploading I think almost every day, almost too, which is the funny part. Like I was literally uploading almost every day, the same exact method. Like I'll stream for like 5 hours, end the stream, clip it, export it, down the YouTube videos, down the memes, re-upload it. Like, bro, that shit was. And people were DM me like, "Don't, how you making your thumbnails?" I'm like, bro, listen, like, download this mobile app. Is like
we might got the same one, because I was doing that too. I was making my thumbnails out there.
Download this mobile app, bro. Like this is clutch. Like you just gotta sit there for a few hours if you want a crazy ass thumbnail. If you want a simple thumbnail, like a few minutes. So I was just doing that for like a year, 2 years, and then
a year or 2 years. A year or 2 years. That's good. I just want y'all to hear that part, because I don't want people in the chat to miss you saying I was on a consistent grind for a year or 2 years before the next thing is about to happen.
Yeah. And then I had gotten on, okay, this is the crazy part. So Carlos Asuaje, he was an MLB player for the San Diego Padres. He used to watch my YouTube videos that I used to upload. And I never knew this, by the way. And I had my business email on my YouTube account, and I get a random email from the baseball player that's in the MLB. And he tells me that he wants me to be under his org that he started, which is called Motivate Gaming. And I was like, oh, okay, like I don't know if this is real or not, but I'm gonna look him up. And then I asked my dad. I had to ask him, Dad, you know who this guy is? Like I said the name. He's like, oh, yes, I do know who he is. Da, da, da. I was like, you sure? Like, he's like, yes. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna trust you on this, pops. And then I looked him up online after my dad gained confirmation that it is an actual MLB player. I could just looked him up before myself, but Google will bullshit you
Mm-hmm.
sometimes too, bro. So like, I could create a fake profile
And
on,
everybody
on
always trying
Google
to
and still
hustle you these
bullshit.
days. You gotta protect
Yeah.
yourself from the
Facts.
hustle of the world.
So I saw they had a check mark on, was it Instagram? I think it was Instagram. He had a check mark or Twitter, whatever the case was. And I was like, oh, it's actually him. And the San Diego Padres had tweeted at him that same exact day I was checking, and it at him, and I clicked on it just to make sure it was actually him. So it was him, and he offered us. Keep in mind, it was an open bracket team. It was pretty bad. And he offered us 500 a month. And during that time, bro, like I was making like 100 to 200 off of YouTube a month, and that was me uploading every single day. So like that money right there, 500 is triple or four times what I'm
Hey,
making
you ain't
on
paying
YouTube.
rent. That's good money.
Yeah, so I'm like, I ain't paying rent. I'm not doing anything with this money. So like, whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. So lo and behold, we went to our first event, got top 8. That event would motivate. We ended up breaking up, which is unfortunate. And the way we broke up, bro, let me bring this up real quick.
Yeah, yeah, drop
So
it.
we beat Soto. We beat Soto's team, which was Soto, Kraz, Pell, Hudson's. I don't remember the entire roster, but they were a pretty good roster.
Okay.
And we beat them 2-0. And well, 2-1 actually, went tiebreaker. And tiebreaker map, bro, I had 27 kills in 2 rounds. Keep that in mind.
Mm.
27 kills in 2 rounds. Like, bro, I was legit shredding. I wasn't even talking, by the way,
At
at
that point,
all.
you're playing a different game.
Yeah, I wasn't even talking, bro. So long story short, so we played that event. I went back to the hotel room. They hit me up. Da da da. We wasn't supposed to break up. We ended up breaking up. They joined that roster, that team that we beat. And then, long story short, bro, we went back. I went back home. Started streaming again. Carlos got me a PC. Got my PC. Shit was fire. I decided to start, creating content and whatnot. Literally like, try to make it full time. Wasn't able to. And then, bro, Gears 5, like that's when like things started popping off, like towards the end of Gears 4. So when nobody was streaming Gears 4, bro, I
Mm-hmm.
started legit streaming every single day. I was putting 200 plus hours a month. I was averaging like 55 hours, I believe, a week, or
Mm.
60, somewhere around there. And that's when I got my first, I think, 1,000 subs. The very first month I started full time streaming.
Hey, yeah. Hey, it shows when you put out that when you put out that serious energy and you do it for real. Like
Uh huh.
when you get off your shit and you do it for real and say, "Hey, I'm committed to it full time and I'm going in." Like the audience, that's a different vibe. Like you turn your stream on with a different mentality that you're trying to entertain and it's not people watching you, right?
Yeah.
Because some people when they stream, like it's different streamers out there. You got your streamers that they flip it on and it's just like I just want to always be recording and I just got
Mhm.
good gameplay and whoever wants to watch gonna come through and watch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they're coming to watch me because I'm so fucking good. And then you have people who says that I want to be an entertainer and I
Yep.
want to have some fun and I want to make people laugh and I just want to have a good time. And
I
then
will
they go
say
out
this,
there with a
bro.
different mentality.
I was for sure better at streaming than at fucking playing, bro. I'll say that definitely. Cause I was a sped. My play style, like professionally, I guess, was still me being a sped player. Like I would just play mad dumb. So I
Mm-hmm.
definitely enjoyed more creating content, bro, than fucking competing. Like not having to deal with that stress anymore of like having to get on for 7 p.m. scrims and teammates being late. Like, bro, fuck all that,
Being
bro.
on all day
Bro,
and
your
late for
own schedule when you're
scrims, like
streaming, like that is so much
killing
better than
time.
just having to be not be able to stream scrims. Just because teams wouldn't even let you stream. Literally, teams will not let you stream your scrims. Like I promise, like half these teams in the professional scene, like they don't want their teammates scrimming their streams or their scrims. Sorry,
And
because of
that's like
their valid reasons.
yeah, and it is some. I get that, and it is valid reasons. I do miss back in the day of those scrims are being streamed and people can watch them and amateur teams can watch them and get better. But at the same time, it's pro league matches out there for them to watch. There's other content for them to watch and get better
Definitely.
outside of scrims. It just for you guys spend most of y'all day in the evening scrimming. So unless you stream early or you stream after
Hmm.
it's completely different, so
Definitely.
Yeah,
because that's a whole day of like you could be scrimming before, well you could be streaming before and
yeah.
then going to your scrims, but y'all
You
scrim for like how long, like 6 hours?
during the Gears 4,
Yeah.
everybody was streaming like around 5 to 6 hours of scrimming. So
Yep.
it'll be from 7 to like 1 a.m. So like your last scrim cycle will end around 1 a.m. Eastern and like 12 p.m.
Mm.
Central. So 12 a.m. Central. Sorry, like literally right at midnight.
Yeah,
And
that's
teams
why
really
we
want
do
to want
fives
to
now,
start.
so we don't have to do that many 11s. But there's still teams
Yeah.
out there that do 11s a lot.
And even then, bro, like even when I was streaming all these hours, like, bro, I'll be honest, like I started emailing mad orgs, like on some real shit, like, bro, after I saw like at 870 something subs, like in like 16 days or something, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
bro, I need to start emailing orgs. Like, this is insane. I started emailing a stupid amount of orgs, bro. I'm talking about, bro, I fucking email goddamn every single org in
Hey,
the
do it
book,
while it's
bro.
hot, right? Do it while the pot is
Yeah,
hot.
bro. Listen, bro. I
Definitely.
had to, bro. I feel that was the best thing to do. Like, I like, bro. Listen, I'm gonna email Rise because they're already in the gear scene. There's no reason why I want to email Rise. I emailed Team Liquid, Nice GG, bro, a shit ton of orgs. And I'm gonna be honest, there was a few orgs that hit me back up that I got into meetings with. That I was actually interested in
Mm-hmm.
joining. And the main ones that actually was like I was my main interest was Nice GG and Rise. And bro, the moment Reem had like responded to me, bro, like bro, that wasn't even like I didn't have to second guess it or think about it, bro. I
Say, I know
instantly
the
said, bro,
vibes.
send me the bro. I was like, bro, send me the fucking contract. Like,
We in
bro, I
there.
need this shit right
We
now, bro.
in there. I
That
must
was the same
say,
type of time I was on when I signed,
I
bro.
ain't say that to him, but you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying in my head. I'm like, bro, send me the contract ASAP. I was like, bro, I knew about Rise since the COD scene. Like, I seen them
Yep.
playing COD,
mm-hmm.
all that. Like, I knew about them from COD. Like, I didn't know, I think, bug years at this point. I knew about them from COD. And I saw the way they treated their players, bro. And I saw Reem hit me up. He was in my chat, bro. I'm like, bro, keep in mind, bro, when Reem came in my chat, because he got came in my chat that day when he wanted me to, like, when he hit me back up, bro, you don't understand. I had the biggest smile I've ever had in my entire life, bro. Like the moment he typed in that chat, bro, I was like, bro, there
I,
is no way this man wants me to join, bro. Like, bro, I literally like, bro, I hit up Morningstar right after. I was like, yo, Morningstar, I'm out of here. Like, I was like, Morningstar, like, listen, bro, like, I love you guys. Like, you guys are my family, but this opportunity I'm getting right now with Rise, I can't just let it go, bro. Like, there's so much
Mm-mm.
potential. And ever since I joined, bro, I'm not even trying to be funny or sarcastic. Like, bro, Rise has been treating me nicely, bro. Like,
Yeah.
anything I've needed, they treated me nicely. Like, I did not, they haven't said
So
no to me. They support me. And I actually like, let me calm down, bro, because I'm actually like, holy shit,
woo.
bro.
So
I
let me.
feel
So
different right now, bro.
that's love. So so two things, and then I'm gonna give it over to Avexys. I will say that I got a lot of love for Reem and in the love in which he shows to the content creators and the people in which he's recruited. And I will say this as being a brother and being a black man coming up in esports from back in the day. I've been in the game since '06, and
Uh-huh.
it was very few people of color at these events. With me being there, I felt like I was like one of five, right?
Yeah.
And so seeing over the years, more people of color get into the industry, rather if it's, as professional esports players behind the scenes, whatever it may be, it's something that I personally enjoy seeing because you want people who look like you doing the same things that you're doing and be able to relate to them. It's as simple as that, right? And so, but when it comes down to content creators, I feel like Reem shows a lot of content creators of color, a lot of
For
love,
sure.
and that Rise roster is real stacked.
For sure.
And that's cool and that's awesome. It's great to have that space there because I got like in my family, I got all my little nieces and nephews, my little brother, they're all gaming, right? Like I was so impressed
Mhm.
by my little nephew the other day when I went home for I think it was either, Christmas or Thanksgiving, but he was like, "Hey, yo, Romeo, can you check out my YouTube?" I'm like, "Yo, YouTube," and I'm looking at these videos of these clips of Fortnite, and I'm like, "Bro, how you doing this?" And by all means, he is 10, I think he is 10, and he was like, "Oh," he
Mhm.
was like, something what Dome said was that, "Oh man, I just send a clip from my PlayStation, I put it to YouTube, I take it, I edit it, and then I put it up," and I'm just like, "Bruh," but I'm like, that is so dope. But when they're coming up, they're looking for people that look like them, that's doing the same thing that they
Yeah.
love doing. Like
Right.
they're looking for their role models, right?
Role models. I'm gonna say that. Yeah, role
Yeah,
models.
yeah,
Literally.
exactly. So I always appreciate all the orgs that go out there and consciously say, hey, we gotta diversify our roster and bring some more people here because everybody's gaming and it's okay to have people that others can relate to in your org. So and I
Yeah.
and I love Reem for doing that. And
Mhm.
I
Reem's
just
definitely a cool person, bro. For that, most definitely, like
nah, he
best
definitely.
owner at like right takes the title of everything. Like I wouldn't change this for anything. Like
That's
he's
awesome.
definitely
Now, now,
yeah.
now, Inzem, when it came down to quickly, but when it came down to them asking you to join Rise Nation, how happy was you for that? Was you surprised when they slid in your DMs?
All right, so I'm depressed because I just lost to
You lost.
Ghost Gaming.
Oh
Second,
yeah. Okay.
So I'm hanging out with the Hive Boys because that is my group of friends around them. We went to a little Mexican restaurant, I think. It was pretty cool. So we're sitting down, and then I just get a text on Twitter from Avexys. He was just like, yo. I was just like, yo. I was like, yo. What
Like,
is he
why
on?
he in my DMs? Like,
Why-
like I don't roll that way.
And then he said, bro, I actually haven't told even Avexys this, or anybody on my team for that matter, but he said, sup, teammate. And I was just like, hold on. I had to step outside. I was like, wait. I was like, yo, sup, teammate? And he was just a bet. I was just like, say less.
She said, "Say less." You don't even need to tell me what the contract is. I just know what I'm doing next event.
Say less.
It's a done
Fucking
deal.
introducing yourself, like
Now,
giving the team offer.
That's all. Now, Avexys, now tell us like the moments leading up to that. What's up, teammate? And then we can take that conversation, and you can tell us about your content creation.
What do you mean, like the moments? Like,
Well, like so like he said, you text him like, "What's up, teammate?" So that must means that you and the squad
Yeah.
already talked about it. Y'all
Yeah.
made a decision. It was Inzem.
yeah, definitely.
Oh, it was
You know,
simple.
Yeah, it was real. I'm telling you, that was the most simple decision I've ever made for like a roster change or anything. It was just there. Like, you're gonna want the rising star. I play with Vic as well. You know what I mean? So I see the same thing as I saw in Vic as in him.
That's
Literally.
what's up. That's what's
That
up.
was
And
awesome.
Vic is that Vic is that guy. He's a so sniper, but hey, but he's a talented player across the board everywhere else.
He's a so sniper. You know,
Yeah, I said that. Yeah, I said that intentionally. So
Vic is
sniper.
nasty with scope, bro. You got
Yeah, so. I don't. Me personally, I don't give a lot of people respect with scope.
I know you
Like
don't, bro.
I don't.
I
So. But he good everywhere else.
All right, bro.
but Avexys, Dome's talked about his content creation. I think that we've been going on for about close to hours. So I know you guys got y'all scrims in a bit, but tell me about just how the content creation has been for you, and and how you started. Just any tips you got for people.
Well, for me, it started because before I played competitively, I was a montager. I did like YouTube videos on like just hitting clips in public matches and stuff. I was all into that after seeing like Butter, Fatal Killer, all the goons like Golden Glove, all of them play like make montages. I had to just do it myself. So I started coming up doing that. I learned how to edit and join Essence, learn how to do learn how to use Photoshop, make thumbnails and stuff. And then
Oh, you joined
Rise-
Essence, the team?
Yeah, I joined Essence. Yeah, the montage team. I was in there, and I was known as Avexys before I was known as any other thing. That was
Okay.
my first time I actually got some type of clout in gears. So that hyped me up. That led me to the competitive because I noticed that the montage scene started falling off a little bit, because as time goes on, the players
Mhm.
they grow a little older, start doing other things in life. You feel me?
Yeah,
And-
things
And
change.
it's like the newer players weren't really cycling into that much of montaging; they're cycling into competitive gameplay. So I went to that state. I went to start playing competitive and Gears 4. Then I ended up going to an event. I was still making content, but Gears 5 came around, and that's like when I joined Rise. Well, Gears 4, and they blessed me with a lot of equipment, so I could actually make good content.
That's good.
And yeah, bro.
And you've been there ever since. It's been
Yep.
it's been a slow. It's just been a steady grind. You've been out there. If you got to give some people some tips when it comes down to being consistent and consistency, something I feel like you have been, what would you tell them?
Well, it's
It's
really
so-
hard
it's-
to
it's-
somebody, but I feel like if you're in love with progression, then you can do it. If you like to progress, and then you just keep on doing it. Just keep grinding. You'll see results as long as you keep working.
As long as you just keep putting it out there, right? Because I know some days people are just like, oh man, what am I gonna put out today? What's today? What do I want to make? Even if
Oh,
you
I know what you mean by that. Yeah, well, that's something I learned over the time on YouTube. YouTube has a certain type of algorithm, and what I do, like what I did at the beginning of this game to have my videos blow up, is I went back to Gears of War 3, looked at the top videos, remade them for Gears 5. Like simple as that.
Oh, see, that's a tip right there. That's smart.
So
Hell.
if you guys find like new trends or something, just implement it in Gears. I'm telling you, there's so many different things you can do that the Gears community right now is like missing, and it's the perfect time to do it because nobody else is doing it. You'll be completely original.
Yo, right? Go look at the go take a look at some of the other games on YouTube, Fortnite,
Definitely.
whatever. Look at the top videos, and like we were talking about earlier when it came down to the strats. Hey, if it's a good concept, take it and make it your own. Hell,
Definitely.
bring it to Gears, bring it to a different game. It's okay. You're gonna get the love. Hell, you're gonna get the love for it. But no, you're right. But that is a good tip, especially when it comes down to finding those new ideas and stuff to put out there. Because even if you I love Gary Vee a lot, and I watch a lot of Gary Vee's videos, and his content pyramid strategy is something that's super dope, but it's simple. It's that you are doing one big form, like especially if you have one big form of content throughout the week. So let's say it's your stream, right? You go out every day, you do a 4-hour stream. Throughout that 4-hour stream, you're going to be able to, if you are being entertaining, you're, creating those moments, you can find 5 clips in that stream, and then you can pull those down and you can repurpose them elsewhere. You can find more than 5, so you can do a 4-hour stream, find 5 highlights from that, throw a little small bumper on the end of them. Next thing you know, you got 5 new posts for Instagram. Then all of a sudden, you take those same 5 clips, you put them together. Then next thing you know, you got like a nice little 2-3 minute clip for Twitter if you want to, of your highlights for the entire week. Or if you got any funny moments, the same thing is that you do this big form of content and you break it down into all these other little areas. But when you start thinking of that mindset, you start understanding that when you go live for that 4-hour stream, you know how to be more entertaining, and you start organically creating the clips, right? Yep. Rather than they all randomly happen, you start organically understanding how do you make that moment, how do you become more entertaining, and
how to enhance that moment when it happens.
Exactly. No, that's so key. That's so key.
And consistency, I feel like that's the biggest thing to me, man. Every single time you take a minute to not do it, you're resetting yourself from your growth, literally. The more time you're stalling, the more time you're wasting. Like, it's hard to really grow if you're uploading once every 2 weeks, because nobody's really consistently trying to keep up with you at that point. It's like you're resetting every single time.
It is a reset. That's the best way to put it, y'all. Yeah, it is. It's a reset. It's like me trying to learn Spanish. I've been out here. I was killing it on my Duolingo for 2 weeks straight. I'm gonna be I'm going into Mexico and I'm talking just Spanish the whole time. I'm like, just hola, just everybody across the board. I stopped for 2 weeks and it's just like, oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to get in it. But also then I realized too, especially when I'm learning a new language, the way I memorize, things off of patterns. It's weird because I would memorize my Spanish courses by how the words look rather than being, I don't know, it's weird. It's hard to explain. It's just my learning style, but I've figured it out. I didn't want to go too off. I didn't want to go too off into that deep end because y'all was gonna really get a guy moment, and that was next thing you know, the conversation would transition to yoga at some point. All right. I've been real big on, I just been real big on just getting my body healthy. I would just tell you guys now as y'all younger, just when I was competing, I used to just sit in this chair 16 hours a day, just scrimming, gaming, playing, barely moving, just there posted up. And, in order to be that intense gaming and playing at that high level, your body does go through a lot. Stress is stress. It doesn't always have to be traumatic stress. It can be just small stress, but stress is stress and it builds up over time. And so I just always tell you guys to be super conscious of, what your body's telling you, how you feel, and don't just put it off to the side. It was this one event, it was Boston. I forgot what it was, but it was some player who was playing but caught the craziest cramp in his elbow. I don't know if he just started playing claw or whatever, but I know when I started playing claw, the first 6 months, my whole right arm was tore up. It was just sore every night. I was just like, it'll get better eventually. It'll get better eventually. And then I think over time, my arm, the muscles in my arm just got shaped that way. They was like, since you're not going to stretch this out and you're going to keep playing this fucking game claw and extending your index finger all day, I'm going to just shape your arm this way since this is what you're going to do all the time, But yeah, just pay attention, y'all. That's all I say.
For sure.
Yeah. But yeah, it's been, I think it's been a good conversation. We're coming up on y'all, on y'all 5 o'clock scrim block time, chat. When I'm looking at you guys, any questions that you guys may have had for them, I may take 1 or 2 for them. But for myself, content creators, any tips that you guys want to give your boy Blaze? Anything that I can do? You wanna show me some
Um,
Bro,
love,
interactive 1000%.
interact more.
Yeah, nah, not even you. Like just
Okay.
in like interacting in general is important to me. I feel
Okay.
like
Yeah, and I would just personally say utilize all your social medias. Like,
Mm-hmm.
say, like you know how you mentioned your clips, right?
Mm-hmm.
You probably want to like start posting stuff to add gain more first impressions, because of course that's literally the most important thing. I agree with you 100% when you say that. So say you upload a nice clip to Twitter, that you reach new people from that. They
Yep.
come back and they want to see what you're doing now. They want to watch your stream, see if you consistently hitting those. So I feel like
Mm-hmm.
it's just all a great thing. We just utilize all of those, and it's just a real big key.
It's a process. You just
The
start the
process,
process. Hold the vision, trust the process. You
definitely.
might start it now. Don't wait for it. Because the reason, and Dome said earlier, he was grinding for like 1-2 years before he found the opportunity to take it to the next step, right? Like it's a
yeah.
process in which you guys all went through. And I love seeing it this way. I would love telling people, I've been in the back of the cave sharpening my sword, getting ready for the next. Honing my craft. And you guys don't, like, y'all will never see the hard work that people put in behind the scenes sometimes unless they open about that part of their life. But y'all will
Mhm.
only see them when they blow up, when they get to the
Yeah.
forefront. And then y'all just like,
Right.
oh my God, how do I get that quick success? It wasn't quick.
It wasn't quick,
It wasn't.
man.
It wasn't quick.
man.
Yeah, that's the first time you see like they hear about your name out of nowhere.
Yep.
But look, he could have been doing that shit for like 5 years prior to that.
The only way it can get quick for you if you fully commit to it. Like you
Yeah.
wake up and you make a decision and say, today I'm gonna be a content creator and I'm doing XYZ because I love it. And I'm gonna wake up every day doing what I love. And that's
Start
all
really
that
putting
and that's
that
all that
blood-
matters.
blood in that.
And that's all that matters. I'm just gonna wake up every day and I'm gonna do what I love and put it out. I'm gonna be consistent with it. Until you feel like that, you may never, you may never get to that point because as Avexys says, you're gonna keep restarting.
Yeah, I agree. That's a fact.
Okay.
That is a fact.
It is, man. It is. I appreciate having you boys on through. Anything that you guys want to get off y'all chest for the last and final moments. I know we kind of
Anything.
we talked about content
I mean,
creation. We
could
talked
talk
about
the state of gears, but at the end of the day, like honestly, it's not. People think it's only negatives. Like, bro, there's actually positive out of it too. Like, it's not just negatives. Like, people think that um, it's only negatives with Gears 5, when the reality, this game probably has the most potential out of any other Gears game. It just turns out
So
to be-
do you want to talk about some of the things that you do
But
like?
yeah, we can definitely talk about
Yeah.
that. So the way I see it right now is Gears 5. I'm gonna be honest with you. Yes, it's not the perfect state right now, and
Mhm.
bro, I'm one of those people that like, bro, I legit do not like the game. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like,
Mhm.
I don't like the game in that aspect, but it doesn't mean like I'm blindfolded and won't say the game is actually like terrible. Like, it's better than previous titles. Like, people comparing this game to Gears 2, Gears
Mhm.
1. Like,
Gears 4
can't.
all the time.
I'm gonna be
Mhm.
honest, bro. You can't compare this game. Like, you can't compare this game, like this game, to those games just because this game is so much more advanced. I'm not talking about just like gameplay wise.
But yeah, technology
Like, bro,
alone, bro. Literally.
Yeah.
if you was to connect Gears of War 2 right now and plug it in and actually play it, I promise you'll have a horrible time playing it. You won't realize what the hell you're playing. Because this is coming from someone that actually played Gears 2 nonstop. Like, bro, I was a UG player. I was playing nonstop UG matches in Gears of War 2. But bro,
Underground.
I plugged in my goddamn bro. I plugged in my fucking Gears 2 to play it in, bro. That's bro, atrocity, bro. Like I'm hopping over covers, teleporting me back. Like, I'm
I,
point blanking people and not getting kills. Like,
I agree,
people
bro.
make it seem like point blanking people and not getting kills just started in Gears of War and Gears 5. Like, bro, that's not
Yeah.
the case. Like, if every other Gears game had percentages, not
You'll
even
be
trying to
saying
be
that
funny.
same shit.
Bro,
You
like
can see
the
exact same numbers.
percentages, man, like that
Yeah.
fucked with a lot of people's heads.
It's a double-edged sword, literally.
I promise you, like, and this is coming from me, but I love Gears 2. Gears 2 is my favorite Gears ever, like, of all time. But doesn't mean I will today, right now, if I will want to go back to that game and play
At
it.
that time, it was a great experience.
During that time, hell yeah, a great game, bro, amazing. Like, there was no game that was 30 FPS that was fucking with Gears 2
Mhm.
during that time, for me at least. Like, the way I like playing the game, like, I just played a lot of Guardian, I just grinded a lot. But during this time, yeah, Gears 2 was fucking amazing. And you was able to reaction shot. Everybody was wall bouncing. Everybody was circle bouncing. People were like, hammer burst only. No pistol, no melee. You can't pick up meat shields in UG match. You used to get home from school, and the first
Mhm.
thing you would do is connect your fucking, turn on your Xbox 360 and load up Gears 2 and sit in a private King of the Hill for literally hours.
Hours. Just trying to be better. Trying not to
Hell
get your
yeah,
ass
bro.
cooked by your homies because
The gore in it was definitely insane. But like, yet again, like if you was to compare Gears 2 with Gears 5, like I said, Gears 5 is a better game in my opinion as of right now. Right now, the current state of both games is better. But Gears 5, like I said, it has so much potential. To me, flashes should have never been introduced to Gears of War ever. That should never been a thing. And my reason for me saying that right now is the smokes back in Gears 4, they will stun you, right? They'll stun you and a little smoke will pop up and you can't see through the smoke. However, it's not hurting your eyes and you're not losing vision of what is actually in front of you. Like you still see what you see from your actual character perspective, right? Now with Gears 5, the flashes, they're supposed to
Yeah,
just
the
flash
visible
you.
feature.
Now it flashes you if it makes your whole screen turn blurry and all this. Well, it can actually hurt your eyesight, by the way. Like if you actually get the blur glitch, like it stays the entire game until the
Yeah,
next
it doesn't go
over,
away.
like, no matter what.
You know,
So
I play my screen is yellow every scrim, bro.
yeah, so it's like these flashes to me it should never been introduced to the point because it's like now you're getting flashed and you're getting stunned. Why?
Yeah, it should. The
You
flash
remove
they should be stunned. They shouldn't have a
people were
visual effect.
complaining in Gears 4 about smoke stunning, right? But now you're introducing a weapon that's gonna stun you and flash you.
it's the same. You know,
It's the same
technically,
thing, basically.
I was gonna say technically it's the same thing because you have two effects that hinder your vision. The smoke hinders your vision, but the flash is also hindering your vision and the movement. So it's almost like you still got the same smoke from Gears 4.
You're contradicting. And me personally, I would much rather get smoked 5 times in a hill than get flashed 5 times in a hill.
Oh, definitely.
To me, it's more annoying to get flashed now because the way your screen reacts, like it's just mad, like bro, like, the edges of your screen are blurry, and if you get the blur glitch, you can't see for the rest of the game, and it's like I don't know,
you can't move on top of that already because
you can't move. Like I don't know, that to me was questionable. So the flashes is one thing, and a few other things too, like the mace, for example. I don't think the mace should be in Gears 5. Like they removed the mace and maybe put it only in arcade because realistically, you should
They got
be
to bring a
able
new weapon.
get extra health and all that. To me, a perfect Gears of War game, like this game, I promise you right now, like if this Gears come out again tomorrow, right? Like this game, let's imagine this game never came out, and this game was actually come out tomorrow, whatever, brand new, fresh. Gears of War, they held on to the update, never dropped any of this extra weapons in the game. They just dropped Gears 5 as it is right now, and they drop it with just Nasher, pistol, smoke, the regular smoke. Maybe that stuns you, but doesn't fucking hinder your vision as bad as the flash does. And they just leave it as a drop shot, boom shot, sniper, M-bar, and torque bow, and just nades and instance, and not an overpowered bolt talk. To me, this game would be perfect, bro.
Shots.
It wouldn't have the claw. It wouldn't have the shock. It wouldn't have. It wouldn't. I mean,
no shock.
In the shock, even the shocks you can keep it.
Keep the shock. Keep the shock. I like the shock.
And then remove all the claw, the mace, the overkill. Right now doesn't make sense for pubs. I'm a pub player, but like, at this point, I'm a pub player. I'm a full-time pub player. I play 10 hours plus a day into pubs, so I kind of know. I kind of have that pub mentality at the moment. If you just introduce Gears as it is, as like I told you, when I told you just now, and
you think it'd be good?
It'd be good. Weapons, this game would have been so good, and like that, they would never have to worry about all these other things that are in the game now. Now they got to worry about the flash glitch. Now they got to worry about maybe tuning down the mace, maybe tuning down the overkill, and all this. Like neither of those things were in the game. They could just focus on the ranking system, the movement system, and matchmaking. Literally, so people from other regions can find games. The movement right now, when the game first dropped, was to me was fine. Right?
Yeah.
So if they would just re-release this game and just without those extra power weapons in the game and like the flash is stunning you and all that, this game could have been literally so goddamn good. And it's still better.
Oh yeah,
it still can get fixed. Don't get me wrong. Like it can still get.
Yeah. But I feel you don't. If it had one Avexys, you said the Gears 3 weapons, the Digger was awesome.
Yeah, the Digger was lit, bro. I don't like the drop.
like you had to be really creative on the angles in which you shot Diggers at high ground.
Yep.
Like I got this one clip where Kenny like threw this Digger like a football and hit somebody with a chest to clutch a 1v3 in execution. I was like, oh my god, what the hell is that? Just the cool plays you could make with that was always fun.
To the floor.
I understand that their power was like people were arguing about me with like not everybody. When I brought that up in my stream, I had like maybe like 2 people out of like fucking 80 people that were arguing about it. and it was a good argument. Like, it wasn't toxic, and I brought my points. They were like, "Oh, but it's power weapons." I understand it's power weapons. They're new power weapons that are introduced to gears. Don't get me wrong, but
Mm.
if I'm making the game myself and I'm a developer and I see a mace that's gonna give you
Yeah.
me extra health and you can just slam it to the floor and get 3 kills in front of you and just
Mhm.
teleport around the map with it. Because I don't know if you guys knew this, but if you guys
That's
hold down
faster than
A,
running.
if you hold down A on with the mace and then you spam press RB as you're holding down A, your character lunges, I think it's like 5 feet in front of you.
Mm.
So people when I watch people use it in pubs, not everybody knows how to use it, but people that do know how to use it, they could abuse that system with the mace now, where you just hold down and then smash
Yeah.
RB. If they nerf the mace and or like remove it, like the only weapon that I wouldn't mind they would have kept it in gears maybe is probably the GL, and the GL is a little bit strong too, but it wouldn't be as bad as having the claw, because the claw you literally do not have to reload the claw. By the way, you pick up the claw and you can legitly get like 10 kills before you actually have to reload the weapon. By the way.
Yeah, it
If
takes
you
like
have,
3-4 months to down somebody.
yeah, no, it's so OP. So to sum up what Dome said is, Gears 5 is polished as is. It just comes down to game types and weapons. And granted, Gears 2 and everything was awesome, but at that time it was awesome. And you're happy with you're happy with the core of the product now. You just want little changes to be made to it.
Yeah,
And
I
I
want these
agree.
little changes to
I
come
agree that
out.
it's polished, but it does need to be tuned here and there. I always, me personally, in the position which I'm in transition positioning from me being deep in the competitive community and being a player there to being more on the caster side in that forefront. I can say that, when it comes down to playing Gears, this isn't my favorite Gears that I love playing. I
Yeah.
agree on a polished end, but I see just so, like, I just wish we had a smarter the Gears community as a whole. I just wish there were smarter Gears players, and I believe that their perception of how they should play Gears is so jacked up compared to what it
Yeah.
used to be. And my thing is, like, how do you change that?
Mhm.
How do you create a better culture across the entire game, not just the esports, but across the entire game of this tactical Gears? But I gotta ask myself, do this new generation just want to play these fast ass games all the time? Is it
Yeah.
no? Is it no going back to it? I personally, just that, when the game first came out, I personally just kind of watched what I said just on the internet and stuff, because, I do have faith that, and I am very optimistic that it will get changed for the better. Somebody has to be optimistic.
Yeah.
I
understand you.
personally, in my position, I can't join in all the other stuff. I have my opinion on it. Also, too, as well, like, a lot of people in esports follow me from all these
Yeah.
different games. And one thing that's been one of my missions in Gears is that I didn't want us to always be seen as the ratchet fucking esport, bro.
That is a
Like,
fact.
I truly hate that shit of everybody looking from the outside in and having their opinion on what we are and what our
The
players
ghetto-
are,
the
the ghetto,
ghetto-
and they doing all
community.
this stuff, and I'm just like, can you guys understand what I'm seeing and understand how this Twitter algorithm works, where nobody has to be following you to
Wait, I say
see
that all the
to
time,
see
bro.
what you're seeing, right? And
say that
so
all the
then
time,
then
bro.
all, like you said, like, homie, what, not Kareem, but the baseball player was following you, DomeZ, and he was watching your YouTube and you didn't even know.
Yeah, I
Right?
didn't. He
And
randomly
he emailed you, trying to say, hey, I want to give you a bag. I want to put some money in your pocket.
Was.
And he was watching you from afar the entire time.
Yeah.
And so I just always try to have players understand that, just know who is watching you from afar. This esports stuff is small. Everybody
you're
knows
right.
everybody. Everybody follows
There's
everybody.
a few people that follow me like on my Twitch that I literally I'm gonna brag about it, but they got a lot of money, bro. And like, I didn't even know who they were. They knew who I was. They ain't typing my chat for years before I started donating and subscribing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they will literally just lurk in my stream.
Yeah.
People got, bro. We definitely, I don't know.
And that's why
changed in a way.
And that's
in
why
that
I
aspect.
just want people to be more understanding, more conscious, just of like how what you're saying is affecting your personal pockets in the long run. Now,
And, oh, go ahead.
no, go.
I was saying, and there's a lot of players that probably won't even stay in the gaming industry, whether it's computer or not. You're messing your own chances up by literally just bashing the game because you're giving yourself a bad look. So even if you want to go from being a player to caster, or you want to work for the actual emoji company or something like that, you're not going to be able to get that job. Work for the actual game makers, bro.
Like, and I'll put it this way: if you're in esports as a player, a content creator, whatever, but if you're in esports and then you're in Gears too as well, and you have dreams, and you have this vision about where you want it to be, and how you want to and if you want to make some money off of it, right? And you want to, enjoy your time here, just be conscious of how you're interacting about it and what you're seeing and how you're seeing it. And that's all, right? But if you just here for the ride and you just going to an event or two and you just playing with your friends and you don't care, cool, do whatever you want, right? But for the ones who plan on trying to be here for as long as they can, be careful how you interact with them, right? Because everybody's watching you. Everybody has an opinion about you, whether they say it or not, and they see what you're saying. And in the end, even if the shit was fixed tomorrow, you still ratchet. You're right. They still gonna have their own personal opinion about you regardless. So that's all I say.
Too. I feel like people don't even know how to express themselves correctly. They just say, "Yo, this game is fucking terrible. Fuck Gears." They add the coalition, like "fuck you guys," da da da, whatever. Like you guys are
not constructive at all.
Whatever the case is, you hit them with that, and you're like, "Bro, like, what are you saying?" They're like, "Oh fuck coalition," and I'm like, "Bro, like." What are they getting out of that, bro? Like you're not,
nothing, bro.
Bro, if you hate the game, tell me why you hate the game. Explain to me why you don't like the Gears of War. What makes you not like Gears? Though, is it a wall bounce? Is it the movement? Is it like you're getting stunned too much? Like my main issue, like I've said it 25,000 times, the power weapons and the stuns. That's about it. That's my only problem with the game at the moment. Somewhat the movement, the speed boosting, but they removed that. This game is just as fire as any other game that I've played.
Yeah, mine is the pace. I just wish that I just felt like if the pace is slower, we'll have smarter players and people will be able to understand Gears at a slower level to be able to play it better, even at a faster level if they wanted to. But I don't feel like the game is slow enough for people to really understand in a given moment that, okay, I should be playing for numbers. I have an advantage here, right? Let me take my advantage. But it's just so chaotic, and it's always go, 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 where even a new player doesn't understand when he's doing something intelligent or when he's just like being a spade and just bouncing around everywhere. Yeah. So, and I just think that, that just makes an entire whole, and also when people just enjoying it, we talked about the last stream that like when the game first came out, like you had like 8 of the biggest content creators in the world playing the fucking game.
Bro,
yeah, like 8 of the biggest content creators in the world. And some moments, even throughout what the game was, they were having fun. Yeah, right? They still found how they still had these moments where they were having fun playing Gears. They was enjoying themselves, but the BS outweighed the good.
Yeah, they couldn't find a match. That was like the main issue that CDN spoke about was
the queue times.
And not be able to find a game. Like he was searching with 5 people. Like 5 big streamers, by the way. I'm talking about like, bro, he's searching up with Nick Merckx.
Bro, they ready to go in.
They was all playing together. They was playing execution together.
Searching up with games, and they couldn't find a game for literally 20 minutes, 30, 15. And even the ranking system now, if you play with 5 people, you still can't find games with 5 people. Like Gears 4, during the beginning, I don't know why No Zero did that, by the way, but they made it to where you can't find games with 5 people. They try to match you up with other 5 people, other 5 stacks. And before Gears wasn't like that. Gears 4, like towards the end, I was playing with 5 viewers with no problem, by the way. I play with 4 viewers, and then bro, it's all 5 of us finding games instantly. Towards the end of the Gears 4, like the last like month or 2, that's when they make the tweak to the ranking system. And that's where they introduced the same exact ranking system to Gears 5, and that's what started messing it up even more.
I think they were trying to avoid the stacked teams beating up on these individual newer players that were playing that were getting matched up with them.
And it's every game does that.
Yeah, like, and they were trying to do that. Like, I will say that if you're gonna try it anytime, it's gonna be when your game has the most population when it launches, right? Yeah. If the system is gonna pick up and work, it's gonna end up picking up and it's gonna pick up steam around that time. Yeah. When it first drops.
Yeah. I just think, bro, like if you're playing with a 5 stack, like if they're not that good, they're brand new players. I don't see why not match them up against regular players. Like I understand if you have a really good 5-man stack and you can't find a game, that's different. Like they're all 5 players are good, but bro,
you can match them up against a good 3 stack. Bro.
I know my viewer. Yesterday, for example, it was 5 of us, and 2 of my viewers are brand new players. Like they were level like 33, and I think I was at level 44. And this guy, it took us like I had to kick one of the players, by the way, to make it 4 people. And one of the players ended up getting like 8 kills in like fucking 30-minute King of the Hill game. We still lost 2-1, but I didn't care about him being a brand new player playing with me. But if it was with 5 people, where it's 2 brand new players playing, it's whatever.
I think that what gets lost is how difficult. Like I'll go into say escalation. Escalation takes so much teamwork. They accomplished that part of it. You needed a lot of teamwork if you really want to be good at some point. But it took so much teamwork where that the game mode was just so advanced that new players playing it without being able to have comms or to talk or to work at that level, it was a catfish experience, and meaning that it wasn't the same as 2 5 stacks playing against each other, and not even it wasn't even fun in that sense because people not making rotations and all this other stuff. The game mode was too complex for a new viewer to be able to play by himself and get outside of a first to 50 TDM, outside of a King of the Hill, outside of execution, single elimination game modes where people that are staples across other games and people come and they get it. They know how to play it. But some other but escalation was just too advanced for the single player to hop in and be able to have fun by himself or even to be able to, carry a game by himself. I still think the worst decision that was made across all of esports, and I will say console esports, was people making decisions the decisions to make it 5v5 when they never played in a 4v4 environment. If you never played 4v4, if you never had that teamwork camaraderie where you had to build those connections, how is it that you say, let's add a 5th man and try to replicate the league and the counter strikes and do all that other stuff? Like, I just, whoever decided to make those decisions, I'm just like, why?
Yeah.
Why did you decide to make that more complicated?
I
You
agree.
know,
1000% fact.
like on what basis, off what data did you make that off of? You just you thought you were like evening out the industry. You thought you were going to their level. You thought,
bro.
So because the 5th man is a lot. You also taking out another team, buying team passes. You also changing up the storylines a bit, and all of that. So that was the one that I never personally agreed with.
The whole 5e and 4b is.
Yeah, and then it's hard for people to make teams and find. It was already difficult to do 4, right? It was already difficult to do 4.
I think even with 4 people, we're still getting a lot of teams. Even for even during UE, like keep in mind, like we was getting a lot of teams like for these like ESL cups, bro. More than we was getting for 2Ks, and that was with 4 people.
Bro, we were turning up every Sunday.
For Gears 4, we had over 100 teams for like consecutive 2Ks. And that's what a 5e. If it was a 4v, we probably would have had like 130, 140.
Easy. But then you wanna have as much drama with the teams, and I just feel like that you had these trios, right? You had groups of trios that was looking for individual players, and they were not scared to take chances even on newer players, right?
And you had villains that like the people like teams Kryptonites joining the teams that they were getting beat up
the
by.
villains, exactly.
The villains were joining the team that they were like, fuck it, like I'm gonna join the fucking team that beat me. Even though I'm a villain, I'm gonna join that team because those spots available. It's a 5-man roster. You know what I mean? It happened like that. Well, UE going into Gears 4, there was a lot of villains joining the teams that they swore like they were never gonna join, but it still happened. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it is a bad thing because like now there's less people that were keeping up with that team slaying wise that joined the team that they were losing to.
Yep.
It happened when Arodi joined Optic because they were low key on the only during that time. Arodi and Brian were the only Kryptonites of Optic realistically.
Yeah.
You can even vouch for that. Like they were
they were the only ones that were like whatever team that they were on, they were
during that time.
Yeah.
So they joined the roster now they were like a dynasty automatically because like those 2 players right there were the only people that were actually keeping up with them. But imagine if Gears was still 4v4.
It'd be completely different, man. Like I'm telling you right now,
That's how it would be better if it was 4v. It'd be more balanced. It would be very top heavy.
But also too is that like I'm curious. So like even if you did escalation on a 4v, I don't know if you guys would just play it for fun, for you guys, but I'm thinking in my head, even on how like the home hill battle stacks up versus the neutral fight, like how you cover lanes. You'll have more 2v2 fights for neutral hills, and it'd be a completely different experience.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's cleaner, definitely in a 4v.
Yeah, nah. And then also, this is the other kicker. You want to go into it is that you want to bring in a new audience. You want people to understand what they're watching. You want people to become fans. You added 2 extra people and 2 extra nades if we're talking gear specifically, right?
Yeah.
It's just more chaotic. You just added more chaos to it and for them to follow. So
you're not even lying, bro. Speaking straight facts.
But a lot of decisions was made in esports across the board. A few years ago from people that wasn't playing. They were just, hopping on the esports train and saying, okay, let's model CS or let's model League of Legends and let's go at it from there. And but it's been a good talk. It's been a good talk across the board. I know that you guys gotta I know you guys gotta go and do what you gotta do. We went off into it, but I appreciate you guys for coming. Let's go across the board. Tell people where they can find you at. Tell people where they can find you at on social media and any last minute shout outs. We'll start it with Inzem.
I don't really have a YouTube, so you'll just find me on my Twitter, Inzem2, and on Twitch on Inzem with 2 M's.
Got you. Inzem2 on Twitter and Inzem with 2 M's on Twitch. Avexys?
First, use code RISE, for all G Fuel stuff. Let me get that out there. All right, and then everything that I have is branded with my name, so it's real simple. You just type in Avexys on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, you'll find me.
Very unique name.
I like it. Just to follow what Avexys said. Listen, guys. G Fuel 30% off. You guys want to hit shots like Inzem and Avexys, right? That's simple. There's a no-brainer. Everything on their website right now, guys, on G Fuel. Every single little thing on that website. Every single thing, even the shaker cup, 30% off with code RISE. Just keep it simple. Literally, all my social medias are literally DomeZ TV except my Twitch. So if you guys want to find me on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, it's just DomeZ TV, and then on Twitch it's just DomeZ. But yeah, I love you guys. Thank you guys. Blaze, it was a pleasure you having me on your Hotseat podcast.
I'm happy you guys all came through. I know we decided last minute, but that's what it's about. Folks, all the episodes are on Spotify. All right, you type in the Hotseat on Spotify. I'll be putting this one up tomorrow as well, or not today. YouTube, Guy Blaze, you can find me on all social media. If you guys wear glasses, all right? If you guys play a lot of games, $39glasses.com. Okay, I got a plug too for you, all right? Use code GUY10 for 10% off. And when I tell you that all these glasses are literally $39, they are. Even if you was to get the blue technology, the blue technology to block out the blue light from the screens, even if you got transition lens, anti-glare for when you're driving, at most, you're still paying less than $100 for a pair. And with code GUY10, you get 10% off, all right? $39glasses.com. That's my plug. But I appreciate you guys for coming through and watching. Hey, it's gonna be another episode of the Hotseat next week. I don't know who the guests are gonna be, but if you want to be on it, feel free to come through and let me know. You can DM me on Twitter. But wherever you guys are watching, like, subscribe, show the love. That's it from us. Peace out.